Hi, this is Sive Morten with the daily update on EuroFX. I post my exclusive market overviews with the key political and economical events, charts and important levels on the ForexPeaceArmy.com forums weekly. This short video is a response to rapidly changing situation on the currency markets and should help you to stay on top of the game and be profitable. I suggest you to visit ForexPeaceArmy.com forum and read my analysis for the week before watching this daily video. Well guys, let's take a look at the euro currency again. Well, on the daily chart, the situation on the euro is rather intriguing and in some kind of, we could call it that it's tricky. Because very often when the market approaches to some valuable, significant extreme point, currently we are approaching to this top, these highs, that is also the highs on the weekly time frame. Market very often starts to form here some reversal pattern. Although currently on the daily time frame it hasn't looked yet now as the reversal pattern, but on the intraday charts we know that on the 4-hour time frame this is butterfly is developing here, and in general this butterfly has the chances to shift to the 3 drive pattern, because this stands at 127 extension of that swing. Okay. 1618 extension of that swing stands right here. We have discussed it on Friday, 134.50 area. If market will show some deeper retracement here, thus that the extension of this retracement 127 will coincide with the 1618, that will be some kind of the bearish wedge, and 3 drive pattern, that will be reversal pattern. Another scenario could happen here, as we have discussed on Friday, that market will show some minor retracement and continue right to the 1618 extension of the butterfly. That is also possible, because on intraday charts this action to the upside was rather fast, and when market shows the fast action right to the 127, it very often continues move to the upside after some minor bounce. But for us it in fact doesn't mean much what it will be, either 3 drive or it will be the butterfly or something of that sort. The major point that very often when the market forms such reversal patterns right at the extreme highs, they could fail, and the reason for that is existing of the large amount of the stop orders that have been placed above these highs. The targets of these potential patrons, either butterfly or 3 drive, stands slightly higher than this swing high. It means that there is a high probability that these stops will be triggered by reaching of these targets. If stops will be triggered, then it will add fuel, because that will be buying stops. That will add fuel to the upward action, and that could lead to the failure of the reversal pattern here. Also, slightly higher will start to trigger the stops of those who will take the short position, the reversal patterns. Those who will trade blindly these patterns in the point of potential reversal. That's why when I see such setups on the market, that's rather promising and very useful, that's really give us the great chances for trading, I prefer to get the position prior the turmoil of the breakout, in anticipation of this turmoil, because in this case your position will be already be protected by this break-even stop order, and you will just watch how the situation will develop. That is what we will try to do today. Also take a look that previous swing high coincides on this week with the weekly pivot resistance one, and if market will pass through it and hold above it, that will be also the significant sign that trend on the daily time frame is rather strong. Well, how we could deal with it in the beginning of the week, on Monday for instance. Well, let's take a look on the 4-hour time frame. On the 4-hour time frame you see the butterfly that we have discussed. On Friday we said that retracement could happen, since that was 127 extension, that was the 1618 of that pattern, A, B, C, D. That was also the target of smaller ABCD. That was also the target of this greater ABCD pattern. So that was the cluster of the resistance. Somewhere here was also the weekly pivot resistance one, and we said that probably some retracement respect of the zero should happen, and that really become true. Now market stand at the support. That is the 50% support of this thrust, most recent thrust up. We know that euro currency likes 50% levels. That stands very close to the weekly pivot point that hasn't been tested yet, right? Because the week hasn't started yet. That's the weekly pivot for the coming week. Also, that is the previous swing high that has been broken. And take a look, that is the target of the harmonic swing. So if you measure this retracement, count it here, market has repeated it for the third time to the downside. But what is most significant for us is that we here have the setup for the Judd Napoli bread body buy. That is, although this thrust looks small, but it has minimum required number of candles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 candles to the upside. No significant retracement with this thrust up. No penetration of the 3x3 moving average. So that could be some sort of the micro bread body trade. The market has reached the significant support right on the 1, 2, on the on the second trading session. So although I prefer to get a bit greater thrust when I'm trading bread bodies, but here in fact, if we will skip this moment, in general we have perfect setup for trading of the bread body. But that not quite enough, because we see that slightly higher stands the weekly pivot point, and I suspect that either right at the open moment or within the Monday, during the Monday, market will try to test it, and only after that could start to move to the upside. How it could happen, we will take a look at the 15-minute chart today, because on the hourly time frame this consolidation looks like just a flag pattern. But on the 15-minute chart we have more details, and we will get the pattern what we particularly will be watching for on the Monday. Here you see the consolidation that looks like the flag pattern. The target of the bearish flag equals to its mast. The mast is the action before the flag starts to form. Here is the flag, here is the mast. So if you will count mast to the downside in the area of the probable breakout, it will give us the target point that coincides with the weekly pivot point. But here we also could get the butterfly buy pattern. 1618 target stands again right at the weekly pivot point. So market could form this butterfly, hit the target, and start move to the upside. Also take a look that butterflies very often becomes the part of the reverse head and shoulders pattern, because this consolidation stands precisely at 1618 to the head. So that could happen that market will start to move up, shows retracement down, and only after that start move to the upside. That is also possible. But whatever we will see here, our major pattern here is the butterfly and the moment of the testing of the weekly pivot point. Now I'm talking only about if market really intends to continue move to the upside and really show the bounce to the upside. If market will start to fall like a stone and will show some fast acceleration to the downside, that's not the action that we would like to see. If this will happen, we should not take any position. That is not the development that we would like to see when we would like to take the long position. Well, but that's the patterns in the beginning of the week that I will monitor for the attempt to taking the long position here. That really could happen. Well, now about the target of this potential bread body. Well, theoretically, I can't exclude the possibility of greater retracement to the downside. For instance, A, B, C, D pattern, some of that sort. In this case, we just grab the profit of the butterfly, or the bread body trade, that is 618 resistance of this back move. That will be the scalp trade. But simultaneously, as we suggest that market really could continue move higher on the daily time frame, that could be the triggering point for the upward action. In this case, we just protect our position with a break-in stop loss order and we'll see how market will respond on the previous high and how overall turmoil around the breakout of these highs will develop. That's true purposes of this potential trade on the 4-hour time frame. That's really interesting, and it's really very significant setup in the for the short-term perspective. That's why let's keep an eye on it and watch it closely in the beginning of the week. Well, that's all that I would like to say about the situation on the euro currency by far. So let's see how it will develop, and it's always better get the pattern on your side before taking the position, even if you deal with the bread and butters. Existing of the reversal pattern on the 15-minute chart that supports the development of the bread and butter is much better than just to take the blind position on the pattern that you see on the 4-hour time frame. So good luck to you, and let's see what will happen at the open of the next week.